Hey everyone, this is Ben from Bare Knuckle Boys. Unfortunately, Sam wasn't able to get on this episode, but I went ahead and recorded an interview with Audra Cummings, an up and coming fighter in BKFC. Hope you enjoy. So, this is Audra Cummings. This is a up and coming fighter in BKFC. She hasn't fought yet, but we're hoping to get her on the card one day. Fingers crossed.
Sooner than later.
Yes. So, I think not a lot of people know about you in the fight world, but maybe they should. You've been featured on at least one podcast that I know of, the Mike and Miss Show. And that's pretty much where all the information I know about you comes from. But maybe we'll go ahead and get into some stuff that they've already covered. But I've also got some other questions for you in addition to some of the stuff they've talked about. I just want people to get to know who Audra Cummings is and like what she's all about. So, in 10 words or less, who is Audra Cummings?
In 10 words or less?
Yeah, do you
Holy
think
cow. Okay. 41-year-old mom of 4 from Tampa, Florida, currently living in Petal, Mississippi.
Okay.
Did I do it?
Yeah. I think that's close enough. So let's get into what all that means. Like, were you a mom first before you decided to become a fighter, or were you a fighter first and then you became a mom?
I was a mom first. I was a foster mom actually first. I was a single foster mom at the age of 28. Adopted my now oldest boy, Trey. He's 14. And then I had 2 daughters and adopted another little boy. So I've had the 4 kids the whole time. And so really I went from mom, wife, career woman to I came home to take care of my kids. And then I was like, I like being a stay-at-home mom, but I'm kind of bored. I needed more. Like, I just needed more than just, like, diapers.
Right.
And so I became a personal trainer, which is a certification you can do from home. And then I started coaching on my clients virtually online. And then I started running boot camps, local little boot camps a couple nights a week. And then everything just started to kind of grow. And my head coach and good friend and local gym owner, Eric Graham at Graham MMA, just down the street from me, he found me on Facebook and was like, hey, you do strength and conditioning training? And I was like, yep. He goes, the fighters here can use some strength and conditioning. Would you ever consider, working at the gym, doing some classes here? And so we formed sort of a business deal together, and I started training fighters. And 2 of them specifically hired me to get them ready for fights that they had coming up at the gym. And got them ready, got them conditioned, did the damn thing. Yeah. They both won their fights. We were all 3 in the best shape of our lives. I did the weight cut with them. I had to do extra research, though, because I wasn't specifically certified to that type of athletic training. So I had to do a lot of research, not just on what they needed physically, but what they needed, for food, for energy, how many times a day. And so we went through the process, and we all 3 became the healthiest version of ourselves ever. After I'd done a couple fight camps, on repeat, I was like, well, the only thing I haven't done yet is fight. And so out of interest and being in the scene, I was like, I want to try fighting. So I've been to 100 local MMA fights. Due to my schedule and due to being a mom, I've never been able to stay for jiu-jitsu a whole lot. So I'm really rusty on my jiu-jitsu. 2 years later, I'm still a white belt. I just couldn't stay for the classes.
Right.
So then my strike coach, Brad Kelly, he took me to my first bare knuckle event in Biloxi, and I saw Christine Ferreira fight. I think it was Helen is the fight that we saw in Biloxi. Yeah.
That was the first fight I ever saw, and that's what got me interested in it. I saw it on YouTube, and I was like,
no way!
I gotta check out what this is. Yeah.
So we were both there in Biloxi at the fight?
No, I wasn't there. The first one I went to was BKFC 20, the one you're supposed to fight in, actually. But that was the first one I saw. I saw clips of it on YouTube, and then that made me want to buy the app. So, yeah, but...
okay, well, when I saw it, something in me was like, somehow it was like love at first sight or something.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to try. And it wasn't that because it was boxing only, but it was kind of because it was boxing only, but something about it was just like, I want to try it. I don't care if I get my ass beat. Like, I just, like, something pulled me to it, and I was like, and I was with Brad, and I looked at him, and I was like, would you train? And he was like, let's do it. So we started training for it. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Your camera cut out. It's okay.
Okay.
So, well, can you briefly tell us about the road to BKFC and the fight experience so far? Because you did mention on the other podcast that you had a little bit of fight experience. Was that in high school, like getting rough and rowdy with some other girls? Or what?
Unfortunately, I wish it was when I was younger.
Yeah.
No, it was like late 30s.
Okay. That's okay.
You train for a couple years, you start to feel yourself after a while. And I'm not even saying that I was like great or whatever,
right.
But just a little scuffle in the woods.
Would you mind telling us about that? I'd love to hear the story about maybe your first fight you remember.
Oh my gosh, I was not prepared to tell that story. Okay. How PG is this show?
Oh, you can go rated R. Like, we do not care. We don't censor any fighters. We want to hear the raw truth.
Okay. All right.
As much as you're willing to tell.
How do I tell this story? Okay. It's been a rough couple years, Benjamin.
It's okay.
It's been rough. Even before COVID hit, I went through some really hard, taxing personal issues. Really taxing. And that I do not want to get into at all. But it was really traumatic to me. And it involved sort of like, I'm very spiritual. I'm definitely a Christian. God is in control of all. And I really think like God put me through a period of time that tested me, my character, and then I allowed it to test some of my fighting.
Yeah.
I just felt very violent, and I'm not a violent person per se.
You don't look like a violent person. No.
I look at fighting as an athletic sport. You know, when we see all the fighters, doing all their shit talking and fuck this guy and fuck her, I'm just like, really? Like,
yeah, you don't seem like that kind of
person.
You've always seemed very respectful of your opponents that you've been put up against from the few that I've seen of your online interactions. And it even seems like didn't you hang out with Crystal Pittman?
No, I would have hung out with her if I could have made it to Biloxi that night, but my babysitter didn't show up. I got all dressed up, had my hair done, and my babysitter didn't. And so I would have definitely hung out with her. I have no beef with her. We've messaged before. Even like Randine is about to fight Taylor Starling, and that was my first scheduled fight was with Randine. So
yes.
When that fight didn't go through, she and I messaged. I was like, hey girl, I'm just thinking about you and checking on you, making sure everything's okay. Because when it feels like there's something big coming up and then it falls through, like I just want to check on her. It wasn't, so she and I have spoken before. And then Crystal and I have spoken several times, and it's been real great. Once you get into the ring, it becomes an athletic competition.
Yes.
And so really it's just who's the better competitor, who has the most skills, head movement, whatnot. That's the way I look at it.
Well, here's another thing I love about BKFC is the way that 99% of the time when the fight's over, the fighters always hug it out, and they're friends at the end of the day. They're not.
Look, when you do something that raw and that basic human instinct with somebody else, and you're both brave enough and scared enough and excited enough, and all the emotions and mental that goes into it, as far as sparring or the couple fights I've been in, it developed. Like I can see now why like men. They duke it out and then they're fine.
Yeah.
Women will just carry on drama and backstabbing and gossip. No, like everyone should just get like deep and raw and like just get like back to caveman basics and then you have a mutual respect for each other no matter who wins. Just respect each other. So So I'll just tell you in a nutshell about my fight. I
Okay.
don't feel free sharing all the details.
That's okay. I respect that.
But I was going through some hard times. I went to the local steakhouse bar place, was having a drink, and one of my friends from the gym showed up to check on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking, I was a little inebriated, and I was probably talking to somebody that wasn't very good for me to talk to. And so this person who came to find me was very gentle. They tried, the comes to rescue you, get you home safely and in the bed.
Yeah.
It was that friend. It was a gym mate, a fellow gym mate. And I got all, I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. And I started to drive home. I had been drinking, so my friend followed me. I only live, like, right around the corner. So my friend followed me. I see in my rear view, I'm like, oh, they're stalking me. Oh, they're going to... Again, not in the right frame of mind. I hate telling this story. You're the only one I've told this to, Benjamin, so you feel lucky.
I am. I feel very special right now.
So I live in the suburbs, and we go to pass the entrance to we come to the entrance of my suburb, and they're still behind me, and I was like, I'll show them. My family has 50 acres right around the corner from the suburb, so I drove to the acreage where there's nothing out there, not even like a light pole, and I just got out of my car and slammed the door, and they were like, uh-oh, here we go. They indulged me in an all-out war at midnight in the middle of the woods with nobody else around.
Was it a no-holds-barred fight? Was there hair pulling? Was there...
No hair pulling, but there was a lot of just, like, brawling, just all-out, no technique, slipping in the dirt and on the sticks. I got thrown down a bunch. Just boom, body slammed. I would get back up crying and throwing my punches.
Was this a dude or a chick?
My face looked okay.
Was this a man or a woman though?
Well, it was a man, so he was not going to punch me in the face, but he slammed me down a lot.
Right.
Very polite. And just let me beat the crap out of him. But like I was going a little bit crazy, so he had to protect himself.
Right.
He did. I mean, he ended up with a black eye that lasted for like over 2 weeks, and everyone at the gym saw it. And he didn't rat me out. They were just like, "Who did you get in a fight with?"
Was he like, "I fell down the stairs"?
So he didn't rat me out, but they put 2 and 2 together because my knuckles were busted and swollen and bruised.
Yeah.
And so they saw his face and my hands, and they're like, "Oh."
They know how that went down.
I was like, I don't know about. And then I did get in a fight with another guy, and it was so weird. I was younger, and I think at this time I was like 14, and he kept throwing a football at my head. Like, if you hit me in the head with that football again, he goes, or what? And gets in my face, and I went, pa! Clocked him, busted his nose open right here. He ran home to his dad, and his dad came to talk to my mom, and my mom laughed in his face. She was like, you're bringing your son who's crying about my daughter hitting him after he was bullying her, and that boy never messed with me again. There was one other altercation on a bus, and it was this girl, and she was real, like, like, she was always real sassy and mouthy anyway, and I never bothered with her, but she said something on the bus like, none of y'all better be talking on this bus or whatever, and I was like, well, what?
I love you. I love your fucking attitude.
And she stood up and she was like, who said that? And I was like, me. And I don't even know what got into me that day, because I was just tired of her and her bullshit on the bus all the time.
You put up with it every day, all week.
Yeah, every day, all the time. She's such a badass, blah, blah. And I was like, Lord, what? We were all tired of it. And the only thing I had to do with her was hold eye contact. And she said, who said that? And I was like, I did. And I just looked at her like that, and she was like, whatever. And she sat down. She didn't come at me. So I was just, but the physical all-out act after I had been in training was with a gym mate in the woods in the middle of the night, and he let me throw everything I had. So it was pretty boss. And then, you always have those sparring matches that get turned up, and they're all of a
Yes.
sudden they're not sparring matches anymore.
I personally experienced that in boxing.
Do you know who Monica Medina is?
No, I don't.
She's a local pro boxer out of the Biloxi area. She's amazing.
Okay.
She has a fight coming up October 1st, but she's really great. She came in to give me a full dose of what a professional fight would feel like. And let's just say that she was the dominant one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't chew for about 6 weeks.
Wow, that bad, huh?
Yeah. So
you're using like 16-ounce gloves, I guess?
I think mine are 12, and hers
12.
probably 12 or 14. Mine were 12 or 14.
Because
But we went all
at
it, and let's just say when I say we went all at it, she went all out, and I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Were you at 125 pounds at this point?
Yeah, I was gonna be fighting at 125. I was weighing in at about like 135 during that time or whatever. I still had 10 pounds to go.
Right.
But I've definitely had enough experiences to where I know what it's like to get hurt. I know what it's like to go buck wild. I know what it's like to stay in form. I know what it's like to be in the gym setting, not in the gym setting. No, I don't know what it's going to be like in the
squared circle. Yeah.
I don't. That's
what do you think? What do you think Dave Feldman saw in you at your tryouts? Yeah.
So my strike partner was already fighting for them, and I was acting as his manager at the time. So I'd already been getting to know Mr. Feldman and Nate Shook and everybody involved as a manager, and a fight partner, gym mate. And so they were hosting tryouts in my hometown of Plant City, Florida.
Yeah.
And I looked at Brad. I was like, this is fate. Like, who goes to Plant City, Florida? Nobody goes to Plant City, Florida. It's a small rural strawberry farming community outside of Tampa. It's more country than it is metro, really. And I said, this is fate, so I've got to go. They cannot go to Plant City without me being there. And so I went, and I did everything they asked of me. I did the 11 minutes of shadow boxing and the 3 or 4 rounds of bag work and the interviews and all the stuff that we were supposed to do, the mitt work. I did all of that. So I looked decent enough. I looked probably like I knew what I was doing. I had a little bit of personality. Luckily, I was already connected through Brad, and then they chose me for an interview. They didn't interview everybody, and I remember them asking me, because it was Paige Van Zant and Britton Hart was coming up, and they asked me what I thought about that. And I brought up something to the effect of, I was like, well, everyone's calling Britton Hart the underdog. And I remember saying something, God, it was so smooth. I wish I could remember it immediately right now. But it was something to the effect of, when you take away the under, all you have left is dog.
It's the dog? Oh, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lyric from a song.
Yeah, and I was just like, all I know is Britton Hart's got that dog. And I was like, that's what I prepare to bring. If I ever get chosen for this, I definitely prepared to bring whatever dog is inside of me, because I might put on like my happy face and my mom face and I'm my sweet coach, whatever. But when I start mentally preparing for a fight, there is another force within that starts to take over. And I don't know what you call it. Maybe you call it dog, maybe you call it demon, maybe you call it your darkness. Whatever it is, there's another side to me that I haven't been able to fully release yet. And so that's why when both my fights got canceled, I was an emotional wreck.
Yeah, we got to talk about that for sure, because it's, oh man, I love BKFC, but they have a lot of problems with canceling stuff for really the dumbest reasons ever. I'm not 100% sure why they canceled your first fight, but your second fight, I know exactly why they canceled it. And I was furious, actually, because I was looking forward to your fight the most. I was looking forward to you and Crystal Pittman fighting the most at this event, and it didn't happen. Thankfully,
yeah, you know what? She's so super cool, and she's got that badass, fierce, savage babe look. So I know a lot of people were super excited about the way she looks. And then I'm guessing if anyone was excited about me fighting, maybe you can tell me. Maybe it's because nobody knew who I was.
Yes.
Maybe it's because of my age or because I'm a mom. I don't know what it was, but.
Well, there's definitely, like you said, the dog. I am a gambling man, and I don't wager tons of money all the time, but I occasionally like to put some wagers on people that they don't expect. But they had you way down. They did not expect you to win at all.
Right.
Why? Why do you think they gave you such
sad.
a lower? Why do you think they gave you like no chance? Why were they like that?
Well, you know what? There's not a lot of video of me. Crystal has posted so much more video of herself.
True.
And they're super cool videos. I love watching her videos. And I don't get the chance to post a lot. I don't have someone to film me. I don't, even if you get a gym mate to film you, it comes out kind of shitty. No one really is really just, oh, let me film you. Let me help you make. No one's really like into helping you make a cool video.
Yeah.
And so probably because of that, a lot of people seeing that I've been training. If you know me locally, when you think of me, I think locally they pair me with Graham MMA. Eric Graham himself has told me when he's wearing a Graham MMA t-shirt in public, people will go, Audra! He's like,
really?
I'm Eric Graham!
Wow, so you are kind of locally known.
Yeah, just because I do a ton of fitness stuff. I'm the only chick in the community doing boot camps at the park. Everybody can see me. I'm by the police station. All the cops know me.
Yeah.
Plus, I have 4 kids in the community of varying ages, so you meet parents of all the different, that it goes along with. It's a small town. But yeah, so I don't know. I know why people would be drawn to Crystal. I don't know necessarily why people would be drawn to me unless they know me, or maybe it's intriguing for some reason.
Do you want to keep it like that, or do you want to market yourself more? Like, are you planning on trying to work on your marketing more?
Yeah, so I do want to post more videos because I want BKFC to see me more.
Yeah.
They're definitely offering me fights. Like,
well, why did they pass up on you? Why did they pass up on you for a rematch against Crystal Pittman?
They didn't. They did not. They were wonderful. They offered me the Nebraska September 10th with Crystal.
Okay.
However, by then, so a week had gone by before I knew about that. I had already broken weight cut. I had already started eating again. I'd already gained several pounds, like 10 pounds back. So I was at 135 when they offered it to me, and it was 10 days away. So I was like, oh my God, 10 pounds in 10 days and travel and Nebraska?
Yeah.
And so I had already also gotten out of the mindset. I had already gone through.
But you kept yourself in that mindset for so long. You kept it in, like, after they canceled your fight. I saw that you were like, I'm determined to make this weight cut. I'm not going to give up. And I think that determination, like, it's got to mean something to them, right?
Yeah. No, they're great. They're wonderful about it. And you know what? They were doing their due diligence. The only thing I wish that they did do is I wish they would have given me the chance to give them a COVID test. They just canceled it. And then I just found out, I don't know how long after they canceled I don't know if it was a full day.
Well, some people may not know the full
hours or whatever. I think
some people may not know the full story. Let's talk about, like, why it got canceled at all. I want to hear from your perspective. I know the details, but I think some of our viewers might not. So let's have the full story.
Easy peasy. In the entire United States right now, if your kids are lucky enough to go to school in person, they get sent home on quarantine all the time. Whether they're wearing masks or not wearing masks, whatever the case is, that is just the culture right now. Kids are just being sent home because they may have been exposed to someone who may have had COVID, and we can't tell you who or how or where, but just to be safe, we're sending them home for 10 days. And so my kids got sent home for 10 days, and silly me, I was in my stories, and I was like, quarantine fun, blah, blah, blah. And they saw that in the story what I got was they saw it in my stories and immediately canceled it.
They canceled Crystal's flight too, didn't they?
What's that?
I heard they canceled Crystal's flight immediately as well.
They canceled her flight immediately. They did that before they even told me.
Yeah.
And so my manager called me and, made mention of it. And I was like, wait, what? No. I was like, we're fine. They're fine. They didn't get sent home because they had COVID, because they may have been exposed and da-da-da. And so I was explaining myself. I was like, tell them not to cancel the fight. That's when I first messaged Crystal. I was like, Crystal, we're good here. I am not backing out. I have all the messages saved. I was like, I want this fight with you. I'm begging them to reschedule your fight. Please, let's try to do this. Whatever. And she messaged back. She was super cool about it. And we talked about it a little bit, not a whole lot. But at that point, there was nothing we could do. And I was begging my manager. My manager was begging them. And they're just like, this is protocol after what happened in Florida, like
Yeah, with the British guy coming over and bringing COVID, right?
Yeah, so somebody brought COVID and like 20 plus people immediately got it, and I didn't see any press on it, but apparently they were talking like there was some negative press. They didn't want it to happen again.
I heard Taylor Starling got it.
Yeah, she did. I talked to her, and she didn't have it.
Yeah.
And her coach, Rockstar MMA, had it as well. And I just said, I was just super pissed because I was just
it's such an extreme reaction when you like literally test negative in America. It's not like you're getting some scammed Mexican test like what the British guy got. You like are in the same state as some of these people, right?
Yeah, so I went to Walgreens and had the free test done and had the paperwork, and I did it without being asked. I just did it because I felt like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It was the responsible thing to do. This was before it even got canceled. I was just taking care of my due diligence. I left no stone unturned to make sure this fight was gonna happen. Like, I was on weight. I was, getting my rest. I did my COVID test. They didn't even ask me to do it. Did my COVID test. Everything. Just so if anything at all came up, I would be like, I'm prepared.
Yeah,
my bags
good.
are packed. I got all my stuff, my supplies, and unfortunately it happened that way. I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
They're being safe. I get it. But I just wish they would have at least talked to me before they just up and canceled it. Give me the opportunity to give you a positive test or negative test before you just cancel it, And I said, I'll get my kids tested. I told my manager, I was like, I'll get all my kids, I'll get everybody, whatever they want, we'll do it. And it was just too late. They just weren't having it. So I was going to go anyway. I was like, well, I'll just go to the fights anyway. I'll support everybody else. And then my damn babysitter canceled. And I was like, you know what? Just some force out there does not want me in Biloxi tonight.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way. I was quite bummed out because I wanted to meet you anyway, but
yeah, I wanted to meet you too. So, and you know what really just stunk about it was that it was like 3 days before the fight.
Yeah.
Like, I got 3 days.
How soon was your first one canceled? Because I don't know all the details, but that was in March, right? That was supposed to be
that was going to be in March
17.
with Randy, with who Taylor's about to fight.
Was that going to be 17 or 16?
16, I think. I can't remember. I think it was 16, because I think I was supposed to be on the same card as Brad.
Yeah.
I think it was 16. And so we put out marketing. They had the posters made. Everything was in play, and then it just turned out something on Randine's side wasn't going to work out. It was really nothing interesting. And she's in New Mexico, and something with her job and some other stuff, and it just wasn't gonna work out. And that's why I messaged her. I was talking to Nate Shook, and I was like, look, if it's some money, like, she can have my purse. She can have. I mean, I'm not doing it for the money.
Yeah, you're doing it for the publicity,
I would love to have the money,
right?
But
would you say you're doing it for the publicity, and then that'll build you up, right?
I don't care about the publicity. I don't care if anyone likes me. I don't care if I get a bunch of boos and people throwing tomatoes at me. I don't care. I just want to see what I'm made of. I'm at a point in my life where when I train clients, the biggest thing I tell them, because people come to me with excuses all day long. I can't meet this goal because I'm old, or I can't because of my kids, or I can't because of my schedule, or I can't. And I always make them tell me why. And so when we start working together, I'm like, if you say you can't, then guess what? You can't. But if we sit down and we can have a conversation about how you can, let's see what you're freaking made of. There are people in this world who get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do the thing they want to do. And if you're not willing to do that, then guess what? You can't. Or they stay up till midnight. Or there are people in this world who are willing to do incredible things to make incredible things happen for their lives. And so I'm at that point where I've preached it so much to people, because I feel like I do incredible things. I do get up earlier. I do stay up later. I do go out of my way to help people meet little goals, big goals, whatever. From not having diabetes anymore and lengthening your lifespan to just getting a toned butt before you get married.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. You know, so I'm just like, you know what? I think I almost ingrained that in myself over the past couple years. And I was like, my age doesn't matter. I mean, there's older people than me fighting in BKFC. They're men, granted. I would be the oldest female for sure. I'd be the grandma.
Would you really?
Yeah. I'm 41, so I would be the oldest female fighter.
How old is Clarissa Sagala?
Teresa, I don't know how old
Teresa.
she is. I don't think she's 41. Yeah. And I don't think Christine Foray is 41. They might be late 30s or mid to late 30s, but they're not. I don't know any 40. I was talking to Katie Shook about it, and I was like, am I the oldest female fighter? And I think she and Nate said that I would be.
Right, but you started somewhat recently. I've heard it said that for a fighting career, your first 9 years you're in your prime, and that varies depending on when you start in your fighting. So maybe there's something to that, and maybe you've got something to show the world that 41-year-old women can still do something out there, right?
Well, I will tell you, when you asked me what I told Nate and David Feldman, it wasn't even at the tryouts that I told them this. It was after the tryouts, and I had not heard from them. And I was anxious because they told us they would call us in like 10 days. And 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, and I'm like losing my mind.
Yeah.
So I sent them a message, same exact message, and it was, you know, look, I have like one tattoo on my back, but I'm not covered in tattoos. I'm not 20. I don't have crazy wild hair. I don't shave my head. Like, I look like a normal person. I am a normal mom of 4, middle age, in the suburbs. If anybody will want to watch me, it will be the wife of every man trying to subscribe to BKFC TV, the BK TV app. And for the first time ever, I will attract that normal mom crowd, other women who look like me, who have a life like me, who want to see what I can do because they'll relate to me.
I definitely think, like, my mom doesn't even, I wouldn't even say she's a fight fan, but I'm sure after she sees this interview, she's definitely going to want to watch your fight because she's going to definitely, I think, maybe identify with you a little bit.
Right. So, like, and the majority, I do believe, I haven't done, like, statistical analysis, but it feels like the majority of women in the United States are, you know, your basic middle-aged moms living wherever who, you know, who need, not to say that I would be a superhero, but who needs somebody's like showing them it's okay. You have permission to do some crazy ass shit if you want to.
And also, you're showing you're not too old. I think some people just give up when they get to a certain age. They're like, oh, I'm too old to go after this dream, or it's too late to do this. It looks like you're just going for it.
Yeah, you do. You just go for it. The kids go with me to the gym. Their dad keeps them when I have some serious hard training to do. I have a very small support system, but I use it to the max.
Well, what do your kids think about it? Your kids must be like, I mean, if I was your son, I'd be like, whoa, my mom's like gonna be on TV. My mom's gonna be up there fighting. That's gonna be awesome to watch.
Yeah, they love it. My 14-year-old is a lot more aware of all the intricacies of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I think he and his friends talk about it, and
does he go like, my mom could beat up your mom?
Well, he's so funny. I don't know what he says or what's going on down at that schoolhouse, as my grandma used to say. Yeah. But he showed me a text over the weekend, and he's in like some group chat with his guy friends, and they have all like voted me as like the hottest mom or whatever.
A fact you must be very proud of.
And like, I always catch him like recording me. He'll be like, "Hey mom," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Nothing. The guys just wanted to see you." And I was like, "What? Are you filming right now?"
That's really funny.
But my little kids, they love it. They do, you know, they're little and they do the little kids jiu-jitsu. They've been doing that for a couple years. They've taken some kickboxing. They box with me. They box with my strike coach, Brad Kelly. You know, anyone at the gym will entertain any kid who wants to do some fun stuff. They're around it all the time. They've watched the Taylor Starling bloody face fight, and does not freak them out at all. They're desensitized to it. They know it's a sport and they know it's part of it. So they're excited.
That's great. I don't know if you've heard anything about it. I heard that Jenny Savage at least was scanned in. Have you heard anything about a BKFC video game that's being worked on?
Yeah, I've seen it. And I saw Britton Hart Beltran posted, a clip actually of her like video game character like walking around.
Are your kids gamers?
My 14-year-old's definitely a gamer, and if it comes out, when it's completed and it does come out, he's definitely gonna want it. I mean, hell, I want to play it just because I know everybody's gonna be on there.
Do you think you'll be able to get into it?
It depends on if I can get a fight or not,
Right.
and really also will be how my fight goes.
True.
If you put on a show, hell yeah. Depending on I don't know what it means for developers and how often you can update it or, the logistics to it.
Right.
But, I think if I can put on a really beautiful bloody war, yeah. But if it's boring or I get knocked out or whatever, then no.
Right. Well, if you get, let's say it doesn't go well and you get Cassie robbed.
Right. Ooh, yeah.
What are you gonna give it a second chance, or are you just gonna give up?
If they invite me back, yeah, I would like to see what I can do with it. I mean, I'm not trying to be, 55 years old doing it, but right now I feel good. I train often. It's my actual lifestyle. I have some great coaches, not only here in Mississippi, but in Tampa. Yeah, I would definitely, as long as I can keep training and as long as I have the support that I have and and I don't get any major injuries, there's all kinds of factors, but if everything kept going as it's going now and I get a fight and invite me back, yeah.
All right.
It's fun. It's fun. I like the scary part of it for some reason. I like the adrenaline. I like it all.
Yeah. Are you training with MMA gloves when you're doing all the practice for BKFC?
So I do. I will, like today I did some mitt work with just like my regular gloves.
Okay.
And then I'll wrap my wrist and I'll train bare knuckle. On mitts, on the bag, never sparring. We'll move around bare knuckle.
Right.
Tap, tap, tap. But it's definitely different training with gloves and then without. They're so heavy and it's my fists are smaller,
right.
So I have to train with some accuracy. The gloves don't give you that.
I know. I was wondering how you do
the
clinch fighting. How are you going to practice for clinch fighting?
I practice clinch with judo or just bare knuckle when we're just moving around a little bit. We'll do that, but it's very gentle.
Right. Right.
And really, what you do is I just practice on the strength part of it, just the technique.
Right.
And actually with gloves on, I love Monica Medina. The one time that I could hold her back was when I could get her in the clinch, and that was the safest I was with Monica.
So you think you're going to be better on the inside?
Yeah, and you know what? She came in and she really pieced me up when I was still fairly new and just thinking about getting into it. So I've had a ton of experience since then, and some actual sparring with her over and over again since then as well. And some other cool babes from Biloxi. They're just such good females. Like, there's such good people in the fighting world. There are, And if you find those people, they'll become your best friends. They'll become family.
I'm so excited to see the women's division growing in BKFC and in combat sports in general. I think women's boxing is starting to get more of the attention it deserves. It's got a while to go, but with I believe it was Estrada being on the Jake Paul or Logan Paul fight a few weeks ago. That gave some good attention to women's boxing as well, and I'm excited to see the future of women's combat sports. But I'm also a little bit worried with this introduction of these trans athletes. I don't know where things are going to go for the women's division.
Yeah, so I talked to the trans athlete. Did you see that? The recent one that was Bare Knuckle Freak put it out at the last tryouts. There was a he born male, identified as female, and people were freaking out. And I kind of freaked out too when you just give it a glimpse. You're like, I'm not fighting a man. Like it's not biologically, it's not the same.
Right.
But I talked to him. Like I reached out to her, and I just said, and they said that they know they were born a man and they were there to try out as a man and they would only fight other men.
Right.
They just identify as a female in their common everyday life. And I said, that is the most respectable thing that I've ever heard coming from the trans community.
Yeah, I respect that too, and I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that, but I am worried about if that opens up doors to some of the other stuff we're starting to see already happen in MMA. Like, I don't know if that opens a floodgate or if we can keep it that way.
Well, that would be a bare knuckle specific. That would be up to David Feldman and Nate Sugar. And I can't speak for them, but I don't get the feeling that they would put females in danger that way, because me being a new fighter, Mr. Feldman himself told me, he goes, yes, because so much time had gone by since the Randine cancellation, and I just said, Mr. Feldman, please, I saw him in Biloxi. I was like, are you still going to let me fight? He goes, absolutely, but they do their due diligence. They know that I'm new, and they're going to do their due diligence to put me with an equitable match. Like, they're not going to put me with a Christine Ferreira or a Taylor Starling until they see what I can do. And I 100% respect that, and that's how they are. Right. As far as the trans community goes, you never know. Like, this world is so crazy and amazing. They could end up having their own promotion.
That would be really cool, actually. I would watch that.
So, but as far as I go, the majority of people I know, it's not safe for a biological man to fight a biological woman at all. Yeah. In my opinion, and what I know, men can just hit so much harder. They can break a face, and we have smaller bones, and so but I'm not against it if they want to do their own promotion, or I think David Feldman is really interested in keeping people safe.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to hear. But is there anything to worry about with some of the past stuff they put together? Like, I'm assuming you saw, at least on TV, you saw Dylan Kleckler versus Jack Thornton. That was kind of a mismatch. Like, is there anything like that going on in the women's division right now as well?
I think Taylor Starling is going to be a lot more vicious than Randine.
That's what I'm predicting too.
With that being said, no one is making anybody sign up for a fight.
That's true. It's true.
So if Randine and her manager assess that Randine has a chance, or it's good for her career in whatever way, shape, or form, then that's, go for it. And, it comes down, there's so many factors. I personally know that BKFC is amazing with their matchmaking and their concern for the fighters. They have been wonderful people to work with. But when it comes down to the fighters, if they beg for it and that's what they want and their manager petitions for them, hey, okay, let's do it.
All right. Okay. The last thing I really wanted to get into was, where did you get this hard work ethic where you're able to, like, even when everyone else has given up on you, you keep on going? Like, you, we talked about it earlier, you kept on, you were determined to get down to that weight even when they canceled your fight already. Like, where do you get that from? Like, how do you keep on going on when you're like, no one believes in me at this point, this isn't happening, but I have to do this for myself? How do you do that?
It could be so many things. First of all, you're already on some level in some sort of public eye, whether it's with 100 people or, like, if you're a Taylor Starling, 50,000 people, plus. So either way, somebody's watching you, and if you actually believe in what you say, your actions will follow. Mm-hmm. I believe in what I say. I believed in my fight camp. I believed in my weight cut. Everything in me believes in me. And I've always said I'm not scared of losing. I'm not scared of getting hurt. So what is there to be scared of? But I am scared of quitting. Right. I'm super scared of quitting. I will never. The only thing that infuriated me about that cancellation was the rumors that I backed out. Yeah. And I would never back out unless something crazy happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For instance, if I was COVID positive, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
If I was, I would still do it if they would let me.
Yeah.
But if, like, a family disaster or something crazy, whatever, I would never back out. I never backed out of that. But I practice what I preach, and you are only as good as your word. And I have great parents and great, amazing grandparents who took a lot of time raising me that way. Now I'm raising other people, and I have to be the role model for them, and they mean the world to me. I'm not going to let them down.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let my babes, I call them my beast babes, these women who show up under the craziest circumstances on Monday. God, who wants to work out at Monday night outside in July?
Yeah.
20 women I know do. They show up all the time because they believe in me, and I help them believe in themselves. And you just put all those factors together, and you can become unstoppable. And that's the way I was feeling. Plus, my mind was so set on finishing it. I couldn't just be like, oh, it's canceled. Okay, let's pop open some wine.
Yeah.
No, I'm finishing this. Like, there was nothing in me that wouldn't let me finish that. It was just ingrained in me, and I think that dog was still hungry and hoping for a shot. I don't know, like, if you really care about it, if you really mean what you say, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Not even a loss, not even an injury. Nothing can stop you. You can make the best out of anything.
Yeah.
So,
some inspirational words from an inspirational woman, I think.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think we'll end it there, and I want to thank you for coming on my show. It's really been an honor to get you on. I'm so happy we got to learn all these new details about you, and I'm excited to share it with my friends and fans here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I was really excited that you invited me. I was like, oh, somebody still cares about me.
Yeah. I'm
it was
super
great
excited.
For you to be interested in it, and I do appreciate it. And I promise you guys and any fans listening, not if, but when I get the shot, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna show out as hard as I can show out. I promise you that.
All right. Are there any sponsors you need to give a shout out to?
Oh my gosh, yes. St. Pete Med and Wellness Spa down in St. Pete, Florida. They are the fountain of youth, baby, and health and weight loss and everything down there. They're amazing. Graham MMA for always just taking good care of me over there. Sparrow Ink Designs. Just Heart did my fight outfit, which no one has seen yet. And that was actually paid for by the Women of the Carolinas, the fight league there for women. And they are a nonprofit organization, and they are amazing. So, yeah, just so many people here to take care of me. And I'm just so honored. And it's just so great. Gatwood Homes here in Hattiesburg, they build homes all over the South Mississippi area and elsewhere. So,
all right. That's great to hear. All right. So, we'll hopefully be able to get you on again at some point, because I loved having this conversation with you.
That would be great. So especially like when I get rescheduled, I'm gonna be like, Benjamin, we gotta do that interview.
Yeah. And maybe next time I'll have my co-host here. He wasn't able to make it today because he's at work today. So, but
okay,
next time we'll maybe get him on. All right. We'll see you around. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.